reducing school violence, and a shout out to a teen hero. Those are topics on today's Coffee with Alain. Thank you for joining me. Because school's back in session after the holiday weekend, I have my teacher mug, one of them, here with Snoopy and Charlie Brown and Woodstock and Linus there in the classroom. I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple ways that we can help reduce school violence. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to Madison, young 15-year-old lady in California who over the weekend performed CPR on a 3-year-old toddler and saved her life. The toddler had gotten away from the parents and such and fell into the pool. The toddler was found in the pool, lifeless, and the adult and other adults that were there did not know CPR. 15-year-old Madison had taken a CPR class in school because she was a cheerleader, and she was able to perform CPR and save that little girl's life. So just remarkable thing. I just saw that on the Today Show before I came down to do this show that I planned on doing on reducing school violence. But after seeing such a good, heartwarming, positive story, wanted to share that. It shows the importance of CPR. CPR saves lives. Important to have that skill. And it also shows that age doesn't always matter. It was a young 15-year-old girl that saved that life. So learn CPR, encourage your kids to learn CPR, everybody in your family. You never know who it may save. And often it's going to save a loved one because that's who you spend the most time with. So one more time, great job, Madison. Lucky that they had you there. Say good morning to Jay and Vicky. Appreciate you guys being here, saying hello. Hope you're having a good Monday morning. The newsletter did not go out last night. It went out early this morning. So I apologize to people that were expecting it last night. Some things happened, got hung up, wasn't able to send it, but it did go out this morning. If you haven't signed up for that newsletter yet, be sure to do so at enjoylifesafely.com. I might even put something about CPR in next week's newsletter, after that story about Madison. Let's talk a little bit about school violence and a couple simple things that all of us that engage in any manner with kids, parents especially, you should be doing this, but teachers can do it, and aunts and uncles and grandparents. We can do these things to help reduce violence in schools. And one of the biggest things we can do is teach children at a very young age how to resolve arguments without fighting. Now, I saw a video just yesterday. It was posted by a friend of mine, Wim DeMere. And in that video, it had two little kids. And the caption said, when you only solve things through violence, you're going to find somebody who's better at it than you, which is true. But here's these two little kids, and the one little kid walks over with a plastic bottle or something and smacks the other kid on the head. And the kid tries to take the bottle away, and the kid holds the bottle. So the kid walked over, and there's this big block on the ground, and he picks that block over and comes over and smashes the other kid with that and knocks the kid on the ground. The lesson being, if all you know is violence, there's going to be somebody better. To reduce violence, especially in schools and among children, it's important that we can teach them more effective ways to resolve arguments that don't go physical. Teach them how to discuss things and compromise and solve problems in sensible, nonviolent ways. And the more they learn those skills and practice those skills and become better at them, less they're going to resort to violence. And with that, we must teach them how to make friends. Some kids don't make friends as easy as others. So teaching them the social skills to make friends can reduce school violence. And then also teaching children how to better cope and deal with different emotions and feelings, how to manage anger, how to deal with jealousy, how to deal with fear or sadness or loss. All of those type of feelings can come out in violent ways if we don't manage them properly. So teaching kids at a young age how to deal with those feelings and emotions, and teaching them ways to manage conflict without violence, so important, because without those skills, we resort to smacking people with bottles and bigger kids picking up bigger blocks and smacking them back. And it's not the way that we want, things to go. So that's very important. Going to stop for 1 second. Jay says, looks great. I got mine. Thank you, Jay, talking about the newsletter that went out this morning. Dixon says diplomacy is key, and that's 100%. And we need to teach that at young ages. And we can't just leave it up to the teachers. They have so much they're doing. Really, as parents or aunts and uncles or grandparents dealing with our kids, we need to teach these skills, and it will only help them be more successful in school and in life. Now, another important skill that we can teach children that can help reduce violence is teach them to listen, teach them to understand others' feelings and understand what's going on with those others. The more we can teach that with some empathy, we can reduce the likelihood of violence happening. And that just goes with part of communication. We need to listen to understand. We need to listen. And then we need to teach them how to communicate their points without getting frustrated and violent so others can understand them. That's a key in all my communication classes. Communicate to be understood, listen to understand. And we can teach those to kids as they're growing up as well. And then, bottom line, we should be teaching our kids to be good people. Teach them not to call names and insult and tease, those things that could elevate to violence. Some people, they get very violent verbally with their words. They'll have nasty words. And then they're surprised when that other person, they don't use violence with words. They use it with their fist. And so you say something and you get punched in the mouth for it. That's a hard way to learn that lesson, but it is a way to learn. But if we can teach our kids to talk respectfully and not tease and not use vicious and mean words, we can keep them from getting punched in the mouth by that person, that's how they respond to those kind of things. Teach our kids to be honest, good people, and teach them problem-solving skills that don't involve violence. I mean, if everyone did those with their children, it would reduce a lot of the violence and problems that we have in schools right now and make the jobs of teachers a little bit easier. And I heard something the other day on the news. Teachers and nurses, a couple of the highest stress jobs out there. Having worked with thousands and thousands of teachers and nurses in the field of violence and reflex protect and so forth, I understand it because I've seen it firsthand and talked to so many of these people. And my wife is a teacher in the school system, so I have seen that as well. And that's why I wanted to share this little message this morning and encourage everyone who is involved with kids, especially parents, but uncles, aunts, grandparents, friends, those kind of people too, to help teach these kind of skills to kids to make them better people, to reduce violence, and it will also help them succeed in life. I hope everybody has a magnificent Monday, and I will see you tomorrow.